Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? You know, earlier this week we were all talking and we saw the weather. It was supposed to rain today, so we made some phone calls and we held it off till tonight. So it works out. It's a little chilly though, right? All right. Well, you guys, thanks so much for coming out here. I want to just introduce a few people here and thank everybody. We want to thank Ms. Morris, your principal, Ms. Campbell, your awesome class, and I'd also like to recognize Mr. Dave Paul, who is our commission president. And then Mr. Derek Clay, who's on our commission too. So thank you so much for coming out here. But I understand that, we got to kick off the event with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I understand we have some special guests to lead us in that Pledge of Allegiance. So why don't you guys come on up here and lead us?
Right here.
You sit right there, and we'll face the flag.
Face the flag though, right?
All right. Whenever you guys are ready. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent job. Thank you. All right. So next, I'm going to introduce our friend, Mr. Troy Uten, who's going to talk to you a little bit about Arbor Day and the history of it.
All right. So you guys have been studying Arbor Day, I hear already. So you probably know something about it already. But have you heard the name J. Sterling Morton? Do you know that name? That's the guy who started Arbor Day. So he and his wife are from Detroit, and they got married, and they had 4 children, and they moved out to Nebraska. Then it was called the Nebraska Territory, and they had this big 160-acre farm. And when they got there, Nebraska had no trees. It was pretty much just plains. So they had 160 acres of just grassland, and they realized that, they need shade, they need fruit, they need wood for their homes and for their fires. So he and his wife, they were great nature lovers, so they started planting hundreds of trees on their 160 acres. And Mr. Stewart, he started talking to everyone in Nebraska about planting trees, and he got the Department of Agriculture for the Nebraska Territory to have this first Arbor Day back in 1872, 145 years ago. And that year in Nebraska, they had a competition, and individuals and counties and things, whoever could plant the most trees got awards from the Nebraska Territory. They planted 1 million trees in Nebraska that year, the very first year in 1872. So why do we need trees? They're important to us for a lot of reasons, right? We need fruit. They give us oxygen. They absorb nitrogen. They help sequester carbon out of our environment. They give us shade. They block the wind. There's just thousands of reasons of why we need trees. So when Mr. Stewart started this Arbor Day in Nebraska, the next thing you know, all the other states started to adopt Arbor Day as well. And within 20 years, 45 of the 50 states that existed back then all had Arbor Day celebrations. And Arbor Day while we call it Arbor Day here in the United States, around the world, other countries call it other things. But most countries around the world celebrate their trees in one way or another. And so when you study, you'll learn that, like, for example, in Israel, it's called the New Year's Day of Trees, and they have a day where they plant trees. In Iceland, it's Students' Afforestation Day. In India, it's the National Festival of Tree Planting. So all around the world, there are Arbor Day similar type events under different names. So, there are people around the world that recognize the importance of trees and focus on planting trees. And Arbor Day is, unlike a lot of holidays we have that kind of look at our past, like Independence Day or Memorial Day or Labor Day, Arbor Day is a holiday that looks to the future. Why does it look to the future versus the past? We're planting trees. Why are we planting trees? When we plant little trees, does it help us so much today? Maybe not so much, but what about 50 years from now when that tree is like that or like that? It really helps future generations, right? It's celebrating the future. So we plant trees today for your children and your grandchildren so that we have forested forest areas and trees and good oxygen and fruit and lumber and firewood. So there's a lot of great reasons to plant trees. But it's all about the future. So you have to keep a focus on today, and you're the next stewards of the trees of this earth. So you need to take this very seriously and focus on planting trees. You're going to get a tree to take home today and plant, and you need to nurture and care for it. So we're counting on you for the future to keep this earth fully treed and the fruits flowing and lumber available. So that's a little bit about Arbor Day and how it got started. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Uten. All right, and I want to introduce Mr. Tony Collins. He's actually the Director of Recreation and Parks, and he's going to talk to you a little bit, but then I understand you guys have some things to share with him as well. So, Mr. Collins.
All right. Hi, guys. How are you? We already kind of met, right? Who is my helper? Who's my MC, Mrs. Campbell? Are you my MC? Come on over. Is it Sabrina?
Yes.
Sabrina, what's your last name?
Church.
Sabrina Church is our MC, so I'm going to hand you the microphone. You get to be in charge, and we're going to run this show from here on out.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Do you need the jacket too?
No.
No, okay. Good, because I'd be cold. I can't believe you're in flip-flops. Go.
On behalf of Valley View Elementary and our 4th grade class, we would like to present to you 3 original sculptures to commemorate this special Arbor Day. Our first sculpture is titled A Tree of Hope by Alyssa Baldwin.
Just here, come up here and you stand right here so show it to everybody. There you go.
Next, we have A Helping Hand by Vanessa Padilla.
Oh, very nice.
Finally, our last sculpture is Growing Love by Cindy Lopez, presented by Stasia Willis. Additionally, we would like to share 3 original poems written by students in our class. First we have Bella Newhart to read The Bricks of Mother Nature.
Give Bella the microphone.
The bricks of Mother Nature. Trees are the bricks of Mother Nature, and just one tree can make our life richer. Trees give and give and give with their many uses. A day spent reading under a big oak tree can take you many, many places. They come in a variety of vibrant colors, all waiting to make our day better and brighter. Trees are the bricks of Mother Nature, and just one tree can make our life richer.
Oh, that's very good. So you stand up here too. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Next, we have Denivia Woods to read her original poem, A Loving Friend.
A loving friend. A tree shades us and gives us clean air. It is a loving friend that will always be there. Its leaves like beautiful silky hair, always ready to greet you far and near. If you tell a tree thank you, it will give thanks in return by giving you a place to hide or a breeze on your back.
Very good. Great job.
Finally, I will read my poem titled The Sacrifice. The Sacrifice. O sturdy and strong tree, in the end you sacrifice your life so we can continue living. You give us clean air, a bench to sit on, paper to write, and toys to play with. You do so much for us, but we don't repay. But Arbor Day is your day, a chance to say thank you. Thank you again for giving Valley View Elementary and our 4th grade class this amazing opportunity. Happy Arbor Day!
So that was very cool. You guys are awesome. That is incredible artwork and incredible poems. Can we have copies of these things that we can keep? Those are all for us? Excellent. We're going to make sure we put them on in our department, but we're also going to make sure we post them on our Facebook page and Twitter so that everybody can see them, and Instagram, so everybody can see them around Columbus. Okay? Hey, a couple of quick things just to wrap up with. First, so thank you so much, and you can tell that you guys really understand the value of trees and why they're important to us. And I hope you help us tell the rest of your classmates that, because we work really hard as a department to make sure that you guys have trees. These guys back in the back, and men and women back in the back, see them all back there with all the shirts, and they're all kind of acting like they're big, tough, cool guys. See them, but now they're waving. So those are the folks that help take care of our trees in our parks and on the streets. All the street trees that you see, the city helps take care of those, and then we take care of all the trees in the parks. Can you guys see back there along that tree line? There's actually a really cool trail back there called the Camp Chase Trail that we helped build and design, and on all the trees back there we helped take care of. So they work very hard to do that. Can we give them a big round?
That's a lot of trees.
It is more trees than you and I can count together. We would be all here all day trying to count it, right? And so it's awesome that we all understand the value of trees. And I just want to say one other thing too. So this is all a part of the Recreation and Parks Department, our thing that we do to help you guys, to help give you a place. We help to do parks, right? How many people go out and play in a park? Psst. Thank you. Everybody should be out and playing in a park. I don't care if you're kicking a ball, if you're just walking, or you're reading a book underneath an oak tree. My daughter loves to read, and that's exactly what she does. She goes out and sits underneath the tree and reads. So I hope you get outside into your park and play as much as possible. How many have been to a community center? How many have been to maybe Westgate Community Center? Has anybody been over there and taken a class or a program? Yeah? I want you to get to one of our community centers or one of our swimming pools this summer too, okay? You need a coat. And make sure you get outside and play, because there's lots of people and lots of great fun things to do at our centers, and we want to see you at those centers playing in our games or playing sports in our parks, or out taking a hike or enjoying the path with a walk or a bike ride. Okay? Will you promise me that? Yes. All right. Then if you promise me that, I'll promise you we'll keep taking care of the trees and the parks and the centers for you. Sound good?
By a forest with a trail.
You live by a forest with a trail?
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to see you out there hiking in it. All right?
You probably won't see me because it's really big.
All right. But as long as you're out there. So listen, we have one thing for you before you leave. So has anybody seen this truck before?
No.
What's it look like? A giant strawberry, right? That's the Columbus Recreation and Parks food truck. It's going to be driving all around the city this summer, and it does a couple things for us. Sometimes you'll see it at events like the Jazz and Rib Festival, or different types of fun activities to go to, and it'll be there giving stuff out or talking to you about nutrition, because it's really important to eat healthy fruits, vegetables, right? So it'll be out there. It'll also be helping us find our spots for summer food. So if you're coming to one of our camps or one of our programs, we do our summer food program there, and the truck will be helping with that. But today, it's here. It's got special prizes. I see, what does everybody see inside the window? I see fruit, I see water,
And trees.
I see trees, and I see cool bags to carry it all in.
All right, so talk to us. What kind of tree are we planting?
This is a popcorn bean.
A what?
Popcorn bean.
Looks like a
Popcorn bean. Say it 3 times really fast.
popcorn bean.
I even try.
Yay, I did it.
All right.
So this is a small class native tree. Gets in that 30-foot range.
30
As
feet?
Yeah, so not huge, not little. Bigger than the ones that are back there, but smaller than the ones that are a little bit further out. Gets a real nice fall color on it, and we're going to plant these 3 today. And if everybody would like to grab a shovel full of dirt and put it around the edge of the tree, we will do everybody's part. When you're done, pass the shovel along to somebody else, and everybody get a chance to put a little bit of dirt on this.
So real quick, Mr. Hoff, when we're going to plant, all of us get trees, right? We're all going to leave with a tree. Do you know that in my backyard, I have 2 trees that were planted by my kids 10 years ago from one of those little things, and now they're this tall. Yeah, so you can do that too. So what should be some things when they go home to plant their tree they should think about? Should they plant it right outside their front door?
No.
Mr. Hoff, what should they think about? Why did you pick this spot?
Well, the trees that we have here are going to be much smaller than the ones that you're going to get. So we'll talk about those ones first. Those you want to plant far enough away from the yard, away from your wires. Make sure that your parents call the Ohio Utilities Protection Service. Make sure there's no underground electric wires or cable or gas lines or water lines. That's a real quick phone call. Somebody will come out in a couple days and do that. But you want to do that at least 2 days prior to planting the tree. We've done that prior to here. You might have seen a couple red lines coming through the park. There's some over there where we located some electric lines. So we made sure that we planted them far away from that. But the trees that you're going to be planting at your house to get real nice and big, you want to dig a hole probably about 6 inches in diameter. You don't want to make it any deeper than what it is right there.
It's about that big?
And plant it the same depth as what that one is. Water it really good after you plant it, and probably once or twice a week throughout the rest of the spring and summer, and then water it next year too, and watch it grow.
Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. All right. So Alyssa planted her tree last year, and it's still growing.
It's just that tall.
See? See, it'll keep growing. It'll keep growing. So that's what we got to remember. Thank you, Mr. Hoff. So what we're gonna do now is, are you guys are you doing the shovels for the first one? Okay. So what we're gonna have you do is come up here and take a little shovel full of dirt, and we're gonna have you drop it into the hole for us. Ready? So get close up to the dirt.
I'm cold.
Wait, don't move yet. We're gonna do it on the count of 3. You guys come over to this dirt. So we'll have 3 shovels on this dirt. Everybody back up like 1 step. Take 1 step backwards for me.
Go over there.
1 step backwards. All right. On the count of 3. Everybody else, we're gonna help. We're gonna count them down. Ready? 3, 2, 1, dig.
Just dig. You guys gotta dig.
All right. 1 more shovel each.
One more shovel. You gotta shovel. Go, G. Come on, Gio. Shovel, shovel, shovel.
Good job, Gio. Nicely done. Good technique. Good technique. All right. Once you're done with your 2 shovels, hand the shovel to somebody who hasn't had a turn yet.
Shovel. Put the shovel in. Good job, Gio.
Okay, Gio, pass that on.
Great job.
What's that?
Who did it? Alyssa. Here, Alyssa. Okay. Yes, I'm cold.
So, Mr. Hoff, that was a good question over here. What's your name again? How do we do this, Joe? He's so mad at me.
There's your bag. Where's the map?
There.
In there in the box.
Here's your bag. Tree for you, sir. Here's the bag here. There's a tree for you.